In today's society, it's more important than ever to present the stories of our faith in an emotionally engaging way that makes it relevant in the 21st century. Here's why. If you're an older Catholic, you might remember a time when people thought of the Catholic Church like a family, hard to ignore and even harder to leave. But new studies have shown that more and more of U.S. adults who were raised Catholic are leaving the Church at some point in their lives. In fact, nearly 80% of cradle Catholics are no longer Catholic by the age of 23. Isn't that scary? Certainly a university where only 20% of students are getting a job after graduation must be a pretty lame university, right? Well, that's exactly what's happening in the Church. Only 20% of Catholics that go through the system later apply that faith to their lives. Best-selling author Matthew Kelly was stunned when his research results uncovered a shocking revelation. 93% of Catholics are disengaged, which means only 7% of the people are essentially doing 80% of the volunteer work and contributing 80% of the finances. So the real question is, how do we re-engage these people? Well, let's go back in time and take a look at the success of the Church in the Renaissance period. There's lots of evidence of the Holy Spirit directing the Church to commission great works of art, architecture, music, and elaborate stained glass to surround and immerse people in the mysteries of our faith and communicate the stories of the gospel to a populace that couldn't even read, and yet they flourished. But this approach is no longer working. We live in a high-tech, media-immersed culture obsessed with iPhones, iPads, PlayStation, and computers. Our young people no longer connect with or see the relevance of stories told in statues and stained glass. So now what? Let's take a trip to Madison Avenue and discover the #1 secret to success from some of the best marketers in the world. They all have one thing in common. They don't simply sell a product. They create compelling stories that emotionally engage people in the promises of what that product will do for them. Let me give you an example. Have you ever seen the Lincoln commercial with Matthew McConaughey? You know, the one where he's just sitting there, driving his Lincoln. He doesn't say a word. He doesn't have to. Somehow, everyone watching wants what he has: success, money, health, confidence, time, freedom. Mission accomplished. The Lincoln has just become much more than a car. How is that possible? You see, God has planted a longing in every human heart to seek happiness in their lives, and advertisers know how to capitalize on that longing. In the words of William McEwen, whether a company is marketing hamburgers or microprocessors, if you can get a person emotionally connected to a product, you'll have a customer for life. That's great news for the Church. Our faith is built on the greatest love story of all time. We don't need to create a compelling story. We just need to start telling our story in an emotionally engaging way that makes it relevant in the 21st century. And that's where the cross and the light comes in. TCTL is an international, critically acclaimed musical and multi-sensory video experience of Jesus' death, resurrection, and the coming of the Holy Spirit on Pentecost. It's an authentic biblical proclamation of the greatest love story of all time, with no religious compromises. Church testimonials from Detroit to Australia. Killer theatrical reviews. Over 90,000 people in attendance, and standing ovations at every show. Remember the reason most young people are leaving the Church? They feel it's boring and not relevant, and as a result, they don't think it's true. That's why we've spent over $1 million developing this high-tech, contemporary musical production to immerse people in Jesus' story of love and mercy and make it exciting and relevant in the 21st century. And we can prove it works. Professor Michael Garver saw the show in 2014. This experience affected him so deeply that he conducted a customer experience research study to see if others felt the same way, and the results were astounding. Our customer satisfaction score was the same or higher than the best companies in the US, Amazon, Apple Computers, and Federal Express. 86% were extremely satisfied with the event. 89% felt emotionally moved during the event. Isn't that amazing? But that's not all. We also had the highest Net Promoter Score in the country. Dr. Garver was blown away. 77% said, "Yes, I would recommend this event to others." That is the essence of evangelization. And it's exactly what our church needs now more than ever. So why is TCTL so effective? We've harnessed the power of theater and music to emotionally connect people to not only the story of Jesus in the Bible, but to every human emotion along the way. TCTL works because it immerses people and all of the senses into His story. It's a baptism of the imagination with the technical wow factor that our young people need to be engaged. We transform the walls of the church back into a sacred storytelling vehicle like in years past, surrounding people with dramatic cinematic imagery. The baby in the manger, the cross, the nails, the storm cloud, the lightning, the empty tomb, and take people on a deeply moving musical journey through Christ's passion, resurrection, and the coming of the Holy Spirit on Pentecost. There's nothing like it anywhere in the world. Now, we don't work with just anyone. But if you're serious about hosting TCTL to give your flock a spiritual wake-up call to reignite their faith, schedule a meeting today by calling 734-788-7073 or fill out the online form at crossandlight.com. Don't delay. Performance weeks are limited and filling up fast.